U.S. President Barack Obama has signed the defense bill despite serious reservations by critics over the handling of terror suspects. The new law means any person can be detained without charge. He's also brought into force the latest round of tough sanctions against Iran.
This last week, the U.S. Congress passed a bill which repeals classic comitatus, which means that we have now institutionalized and codified martial law.
FEMA is fully activated.
FEMA is fully activated and is coordinating with state and local officials to support these regions as necessary. And let me just stress that if people are told to evacuate, do as you are told. Do as you are told.
It's all there. All the government documents, all the government admissions, a civilian inmate labor camp program run by the Army, where they're at, all the details down to how they're going to break the families up and where the children go and the forced inoculation.
Right now, the battle against terrorism involves all of us. Everybody in this country is a potential terrorist. And the words that they use in there to bring everybody in as a potential terrorist is any associated forces, which means that if you happen to visit a website, happen to attend a meeting, happen to do one association, you can be accused of being a terrorist, and the bill says you have no right to a lawyer. They've been abusive of this for many years, but now it's been codified. And this president, just about a year ago, announced that some of these bad people, even though they're American citizens, don't deserve even charges, that they can now be assassinated.
When the president can kill whoever he wants, then he's not a president anymore, he's a king.
President can kill whoever he wants, then he's not a president anymore, he's a king.
The Nobel Peace Prize winner has just announced and authorized that he has told the CIA that it can assassinate American citizens in direct violation of the Constitution's Due Process Clause, in violation of federal law, and in violation of treaties to which the U.S. is a party. The Due Process Clause to the Constitution states that no person, whether they're overseas or in the U.S., may be deprived of life, liberty, or property by the government without due process of law, which means a jury trial.
Are you prepared to take the oath, Senator?
I am.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, solemnly swear.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
That I will execute the office of President to the United States faithfully.
That I will execute.
The Nobel Peace Prize winner has just announced and authorized that he has told the CIA that it can assassinate American citizens.
FEMA is fully activated.
Everybody in this country is a potential terrorist.
And U.S. President Barack Obama has signed the defense bill despite serious reservations by critics over the handling of terror suspects. The new law means any person can be detained without charge. He's also brought into force the latest round of tough sanctions against Iran.
Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The future of Egypt will be determined by its people. It's also clear that there needs to be a transition process that begins now. The United States and the entire world continues to be outraged by the appalling violence against the Libyan people. Going forward, we will continue to send a clear message. The violence must stop. Muammar Gaddafi has lost legitimacy to lead, and he must leave. Candidate for president, I pledge to bring the war in Iraq to a responsible end. Today, I can report that, as promised, the rest of our troops in Iraq will come home by the end of the year. After nearly 9 years, America's war in Iraq will be over. As a candidate for president, I pledge to bring the war in Iraq to a responsible end. Today, I can report that, as promised, the rest of our troops in Iraq will come home by the end of the year. After nearly 9 years, America's war in Iraq will be over.
Obama announces this drawdown of troops, a massive buildup is in the works. Thousands of U.S. troops now gearing up to go to Israel. Gearing up to go to Israel. The military is calling it an exercise, not a deployment. But this is one serious exercise. This, as Israel says, they're ready to go to war with Iran.
Those who are virtuous, righteous, pure and chaste as an unsullied virgin shall be constructed, fashioned, formed, and made ready by the author, Father God. He will appoint and ordain us, and we shall celebrate our Passover when he performs his promise. These are the marvelous works of Jesus, Yeshua, changing us from one thing to another. What must be thought of the conduct of those who receive the baptism? Will they not seem to act foolishly? What has just been said shall be supplied to those who are constructed by Christ's command. It is to be carried out. We shall follow him and be of the same mind and do the same works as God. These words which are delivered by Yah to be performed are works committed to me by Yah, so that I may perform what the relations and duties of an evangelist demands. Do you commit evil deeds or do good? Perform works worthy of a Christian, and he will show himself merciful. He will perform his promise to the good and pleasant, who are considered excellent, distinguished, upright, and honorable. Fruitful trees on fertile soil or good ground shall receive a gift which is truly a gift, the saving work of Yah. These are the comforts and delights which thy wealth procured for thee in abundance, the benefits of the Messianic kingdom. It is a necessity, proper and unavoidable, that we be compelled and given permission to leave. This is imposed by circumstances and the law of duty regarding our advantage. Because of calamity and distress, we shall be in the curves of his arms and taken into the midst of heaven. This truth is unfailing. It will not fail because Christ is infallible and incapable of error. Those who fail, he will pass by, leave, abandon, and forsake with the failing or eclipse of the light of the sun and the moon. He will leave behind those who are destitute because they lack and were found wanting. The things that fail will remain at our exit and emission out of the body, out of the power of the evil one, out of the chains with which our hands were bound, and out of the graves, dissolving present relations with the earth, being taken out of the sphere of earthly action when Yeshua comes to avenge the blood of murderers on the slayers, to judge his judgment, and to vindicate us by vengeance. He is our origin, source, and cause of generations, races, and lineage. He will beget us, and we will be born of a woman in the spiritual sense, from the divine nature. We shall have the name of the city, race, people, tribe, and family written upon ourselves, imbued with the nature and disposition derived from Yah, not of earthly origin, nor of earthly nature. We have our prototype in Yah, and are wrought in the soul by his power out of one of his ribs, and we shall be changed into that which is bought with the fullness on which we depend. Do not depend on possessions, because possessions cannot secure life. Be led by a desire to know the truth. Be a lover of the truth, and you will be bound to him, connected with him, to have relations with him. We are the circumcised Jewish Christians, and because of the pain to come, we have reached the time and point of departure of a temporal series. From this time on, henceforth, we shall be taken, the treasure shall be taken out of the treasury, the soul which is the source of conduct, feelings, virtues, and vices. It is the source of knowledge, declared and proven to be that from which a rule of judging and acting is derived. Out of the mouth comes the treasures of the heart, which we shall be judged by. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. We have reached the temporal point from which, for a long time, we have waited to see Jesus perform a miracle. From this time, by consent, by agreement of necessity, and by compulsion, so that each part of the whole, each in his part, by measure, shall egress and emerge, being given the right to leave as the emergence of a celestial body from eclipse. This is our emission, removal, and separation from the body, going back to our origin, source, and inception, publicly unfolding, denoting our completion and perfection, exceedingly out of measure, which is our fitting amount, and intense earnestness, which is deeply felt and profound, with sincerity and seriousness, by the Alpha and Omega. This work will be finished and complete from now, henceforth. I tell you the truth. Hereafter you shall see heaven open, and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. This will happen exactly, precisely, in this exact manner, truthfully, just now, at this time, this moment. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. The showbread, which are loaves consecrated to Yahweh, used at the love feast, and at Yahweh's table, is the food served to the children. Take the food supplied by Yahweh, and eat the food which we have procured for ourselves by our labor. He shall be our companion at the table, our familiar friend. Yeshua is the divine showbread from heaven, who, containing in himself the source of heavenly light, supplies celestial nutriment to souls that they may attain to life eternal. He shall raise the dead and elevate us from the ground to carry off what is committed to him. Cry out in a loud voice with a sense of fear, hope, joy, and grief, and you shall be separated at our departure and flee. We shall put off and lay aside our body, becoming circumcised from the flesh by Christ. He will strip off our garments for our advantage, and we shall put off the body, the raiment or clothing of the soul. We shall enter into heaven, exiting the world, separated according to Yah's will and appointment. We shall be extraordinarily constructed at our separation, liberation, and departure, our finishing and completion. Yeshua is the pattern from which the copy is taken, and it is him from which this action proceeds. We shall be hidden, concealed, and kept secret. He will hide us so that we escape notice, being quietly withdrawn, departing secretly, and kept laid up with Yah in heaven. He will cover and remove us from view, taking us away and rescuing us from sight. This is Yah's saving counsel. At our separation, we shall be brought forth from the womb. He will begat us as his first fruits, and we shall rise in swells as the waves of the sea. We shall rise into the clouds with a crescendo, changing in shape, altered, given a wave-like appearance and form, to move in smooth, undulating waves, being newly made, vigorous, and youthful. We shall be made fashionably elegant, excellent, and wonderful at our separation. Amen. Shalom.